Good morning. My name is Amy Houchins. I'm the mother of 2 middle school students. I'm also a pharmacist and I use math every day. I've been involved in the math TEKS and accountability assessment and college career ready struggles for a while now behind the scenes. I have a pretty bad fear of public speaking, but I feel that I must speak up, not only for my children, but for all of the children in the Texas public school system. We have heard over and over how the new math TEKS were supposed to increase understanding and rigor and lead to stellar assessment results. Let's review some of the data. So in this handout from Randy, I didn't print this up too because there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. On page 4, we have NAEP trends in math scores. These are national scores, and as you can see over time, they've been trending somewhat upward. This is going through 2012. There's not more results yet done out. But through 2012, things are trending upward. Age 17, kind of flat, but by that time you pretty much know what you know. 8th grade NAEP scores, Texas versus the nation. On this, you'll notice positive progress until the Common Core-esque things started creeping in, and now there's a dip with the new standards. So from 11 to 15, you start seeing the dip. Also, we were hearing that, Texas isn't doing as well as the nation. Now, granted, this is 4th grade, but you can see that Texas was trending above the nation, and now everybody is trending down. 8th grade NAEP scores. This is national. This is showing how overall in the advanced, proficient, and basic, even in the last level, the 10th percentile, things starting in 13, they're starting to trend down. Everyone is trending down. 4th grade NAEP scores from 1990, 2015, Texas versus nation. What to take out of this is the nation is trending down. Texas is flat to a slight improvement. There may be a possible answer to that. There again, 4th grade NAEP scores, 1990 to 2015 by percentile, flattening or trending downward. On page 9, we have a chart from the TEA website. This is how they convert raw scores to scale scores. So when you see when you get your review, your report for your student, this shows how many questions out of the total they got right. So on the next page, page 10 of 14, this is a chart of grades 3 through 8, basically the raw scores table, what percent you had to have for a minimum passing score on the math. We have things just above 50%, 35%, not very high percent to pass. This is a minimum passing score. The 14, 15, and 15, 16 passing standards are so much lower than before for the majority except for 8th grade.
So if you can kind of wrap up that'd be great.
On page 11, you'll notice that for Algebra 1, this gives your higher math things. For Algebra 1, minimum passing score is 37%. What do kids really know if you can pass with just a 37%? There is a big difference, seems like a big difference in the red line going from Algebra 1 in the fall to the spring, but that is one question. If the standard was one question more. Some of these things aren't charted out because there was no data available. Randy referenced on page 12, this is a chart with the number of questions testing process. So if about half of them are testing process on the test, then you have to kind of double that last column on the right. Now, 4th grade, the other page I gave y'all was that TEA release, and they were all saying about how everything's trending up.
So go ahead and kind of wrap up that last
real quickly. This right here. So it looks like math is doing great, and there was all of this stuff about how 13 of the 17 assessments showed gains when compared to the 2015 standard. This is a 2016 test and needs to be compared to the 2016 standard. So they mention that down further. At the higher passing standard, passing rates were up on 6 assessments and down or flat on 11. So what's listed up at the top, you're thinking, oh great, 76%, we're up on 76% of these. But when you actually apply the 2016 standards to the 2016 test, only 35% of them are up. So
Thank you,
that's a little misleading there. But
Did you have questions? Yes, Ms. Hardy. And then Ms. Miller. Ms. Miller. Go ahead and turn on your mic.
Okay. On the TEA report, it's just, if you look at this also, you have all of these showing up and things, but when you look at when you're actually comparing the 2016 versus 2016 using the 2016 standards, so many are actually down. There is one where it's trending up. There's several of them that are still trending up, like grade 4 math. Grade 4 math from that chart with percent process standard is the lowest percent. It's only 13% testing process. I'm not seeing improvement. We were told we were going to have improvement. And now I cringe when I hear discussion of the English language arts reading TEKS. Instead of them being reviewed and streamlined, they're being rewritten and some things are expanded. I'm worried, do you think that this will create some of the same problems that we've seen with the math TEKS? And I can tell you what my children have said about collaboration and project-based learning when they've listened to these meetings with us at home. There was much groaning followed by, oh no, not more projects and working in groups. Only 1 or 2 people do the work and the 2 or 3 other people in the group do nothing. I congratulated my children on being career ready, and I thank you for your time and attention.
Ms. Hart.
Thank you.
I will say, this is not what I want to say right now, but I will say in addressing that last comment, is that is exactly why the English teachers feel like that they should have a strand called collaboration, because it has been misused and done in exactly the same way you're talking. And if it were done correctly, that would not be the outcome that your children are talking about. So I think that that's very important to make people understand that that is not true collaboration. That is the old cooperative learning, I believe, in my day. What I would like is, we quite often have people say this, and I've heard staff explain this in the past. We oftentimes think that when you say 37, you're thinking of 37 out of 100 in an old scoring way that we would be in school. And assessment is very good at explaining that is not the way you can look at that score of 37. I don't know whether anyone is here from assessment that could explain that again, that is a compilation of scale scores, and they aren't here? They're not behind the desk or anything, hiding anywhere? Well, we've had it explained before, and the only reason I was saying to explain it again is obviously people don't want to accept what the assessment has said, but I would think it would be worth hearing again to understand that it is not on the basis of a score of 100 and you're making a 37. I don't understand it from my point of view. I accept it because the psychometricians are a lot smarter than I am, and that's their field, and I've seen how the scale scores translate out and all the different things they interject into coming up with those scoring and how many you need to have correct to make it a passing score and so forth. So again, it's very difficult to understand. We have people who are experts in that field, and that's what I have to rely on their judgment. Thank you.
In response to that, I mean, the Algebra 1 raw score conversion table, it does show that you have to have 19 to 20. Well, you have to have 20 right out of the 54. So no, it's not 37 out of 100. It's only 20 questions that you have to have right. I've heard anecdotal experience that there are people who have passed Algebra 1 but did not pass the Algebra EOC. There are people who have failed Algebra 1 class but passed the Algebra EOC. There are also people who, when they took their Algebra EOC, bubbled C down. We're done in 5 minutes. And they received a level 3 advance because of luck of the draw. they got enough questions right. So, just something to think about.
Any other questions, members? Yes, Mr. Ralph.
Thank you for your testimony. I want to echo your concern, because what I just took away from your last comment is that the STAR test is not the best or the only way to measure that our kids are learning. I think it is a flawed method. I think it is a method, but I think it's a flawed method. And I much prefer and have much more faith and trust in the other 179 days of the school year with the teacher and the students and the curriculum, because not every kid does well on a high pressure testing situation. And so I think that's why you see the kinds of things that for 179 days that kid passed Algebra 1 or failed Algebra 1, but then the test gives us something completely different. And I think this test, because of some interpretation or some inartful drafting in our TEKS, has led to an unintended consequence of whether you get the answer right. We want to make sure you got the process. Well, math is something that does have a right answer to it. And so I think there's work to be done. I appreciate your dedication to this, and I think we can get there. The question is, how quickly can we turn this big boat around and get it headed in the right direction? But rest assured, you have been heard, and we are dedicated to fixing it.
Yes, I do appreciate that y'all are working towards this and things. On the comment of the STAR being flawed, we are moving to next gen assessment. We are following that and things. You're not hearing as much on that right now. You're hearing a lot on STAR, people not liking STAR and things. I do believe that with the next gen assessment, we are going to be wishing that the STAR was back. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Cargill.
Well, and I just wanted to mention, I know you and Randy kind of did a joint document, but on page 2, where one of you put the example of the math problem about the number 11, the music teacher with the 4 boxes of recorders, 9 recorders in each box. The teacher gave an equal number of recorders to each of 6 classes. How many recorders did each class receive? And that is a great example of the type of question that I've been advocating, because it's a straight up math question, but the student in their mind can choose the process that made the most sense to them. So if they want to draw a bar graph to get the problem correct, fine. If they want to draw a pictorial model, whatever they want to draw to get the question correct is fine. Whatever process they want to use to get it correct is fine, and that's what we want. We want them to use the process that made the most sense to them. And so thank you for putting in a great example of what I've been trying to convey.
And this is a good example of the way a question can be asked, and they can choose which way works best for them. The problem is that question could potentially be asked in several different
I saw
other
that,
ways.
Yeah.
So this is a knowledge question versus a process question.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Houchins.